So why is Under Armour falling so far behind in the race to capture the athletic market? Well, let's talk more about that with Paula Rosenblum, the co-founder and managing partner at RSR Research. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Nice to be here.
Now, I want to start with the coronavirus. We've seen that it has affected several companies and they adjust their strategies. How do you see that impacting sales on the supply chain for Under Armour?
I don't see it impacting the supply chain so much because they can use alternate sources in the Far East, assuming that it doesn't spread really quickly, but it's certainly going to affect sales. From what I'm hearing and reading, people are certainly not in the mood to shop, let's say that.
And that's understandable. Now, as we look at the brand as a whole, we know that it was pretty successful in its early days, but it does seem to be stumbling. Why are the strategies that gave them so much success before not working as well now?
Well, I think that there's a dynamic in the athletic industry that people are really kind of missing. I was listening to some other analysts today. Particularly the footwear side is very, very cyclical. And so an item may be, a brand or a style may be hot this year, and then it's not hot next year or the year after that. Typically they come back around, but it takes some time. And because Under Armour set such a high bar with such rapid growth, I think the street was shocked when their sales slowed down. And as you mentioned before, it didn't help that there was some shenanigans going on.
Now, under these shenanigans, we also have new leadership. We have Patrick Frisk. What are his priorities for the company?
Well, he's much more of an operating guy than he is a merchant, which his predecessor was. He stated that he wants to improve the website, improve marketing, although they do a lot of marketing already, and reduce their reliance on off-price retailers. They've gotten caught in a very classic retail dilemma, which is this race to the bottom. Let's get the lowest price we can. Let's run a lot of promotions so that we can get consumers engaged with our product. Coming back from that is really a challenge, and more than one retailer has reported that it's tarnishing their brands.
Now, it's interesting because in a move to really sort of change that marketing campaign, we saw that Plank unveiled a new campaign for the company last month called The Only Way Is Through, and he signed Olympic swimming champ Michael Phelps and alpine skiing champ Lindsey Vonn as spokespersons. But how involved is Plank overall at this point?
It seems as though he's still trying to develop new product and manage the brand itself. That's as far as I can tell. I don't have a lot of inside information on the company, but that's what I've read and seen. Now, that can be a challenge because when someone is that much of a merchant and is that product-focused and product-driven, when product trends change, they have a hard time changing with them. And he seems to be really wanting to stay the course on the on performance clothing and performance footwear when athleisure seems to still be really the hottest item in the market.
So then how does that fit in with their plans then for stepping up competition, especially when you have Nike and Chinese brands and also in the market?
I mean, it's an issue for them. The Chinese brands in particular are an issue. They've got Fila. They've got a license on Fila. And there's been a lot of data that's telling us that the Chinese middle class is becoming more interested in native brands than in the brands from this part of the world.
Now, we know that there are going to be several branding opportunities coming up this year. You have the Summer Olympics. You have other opportunities to partner with some of these major sports stars. What else should we be watching for with Under Armour this year?
Well, it's tricky. I mean, I would like to say that they're going to go after more endorsements, and I hope they do. But when you're in a cost-cutting mode, sometimes that's hard to do because you've got to spend money to do that marketing and then to spread that marketing around. You can't just expect that, you'll hire, let's say, Michael Phelps. He'll do a commercial for you, and they'll put it on YouTube, and that'll be the end of it. Then you've got to start buying ad time, and you've got to start buying ad time all around the world. So I'm not sure yet that they'll be able to do what they want to do.
And what would you say, just quickly, is their biggest challenge going forward?
That the street doesn't have patience to wait them out, to wait out the change in trends. They don't seem to be able to reinvent themselves. They don't seem to want to be able to reinvent themselves. And so therefore their only hope is to wait until the market style trends shift so that they can then become hot again. We've seen that with Converse, we've seen it with Reebok, we've seen it with Adidas. You can see it with all these different kind of athletic brands. It's very, very cyclical. And so their biggest challenge is having the street have the patience to wait for them and not overextending themselves too much further.
We'll have to see if they take your advice. Thank you so much. Paula Rosenblum there, co-founder and managing partner at RSR Research.